What would you do if the sky suddenly cracked open, and something without a face called your name? This is the true story of a morning that refused to stay ordinary. Hook 2, Shock and Curiosity. He stepped outside for a normal walk, and found a shadow waiting for him, one that was not his. What happened next turned the quiet street into a place he would never forget. Hook 3, Creepy and Atmospheric. Have you ever felt the air watching you? He did, and what emerged from that silence changed everything. Hook 4, Fast and Gripping. One step, one whisper, one shape in the light, and suddenly his world began to break apart. Stay with me, because what happened next will haunt you. Hook 5, Dramatic and Cinematic. The sky tore open, the shadows moved, and something reached for him from beyond the ordinary. This is the day he was never meant to walk away from. The morning sun rose with a pale and uneasy glow. Its light felt thin and fragile as if unsure of itself. I stepped onto the quiet street. The air was colder than expected. A strange silence floated above the houses. My footsteps echoed sharply, each sound bounced back with an unnatural clarity, as if the world had suddenly grown hollow. A faint vibration brushed against my arm. I turned quickly. Nothing moved around me, only still windows, only empty shadows. A metallic scent drifted in. Sharp, dry, unfamiliar. It wrapped around my throat and pulled a shiver from my skin. The wind shifted. It carried a whisper that did not belong to any voice I knew. The sound slipped past my ear. Thin, urgent, impossible to ignore. I felt the ground tremble beneath my shoes. A slow rising pulse, like something awakening far below. My heart beat faster. My breath thickened. The street seemed to lean in toward me, as if waiting. The vibration grew stronger. The whisper returned, clearer, closer, almost forming my name. I looked up, and that was the moment everything around me changed. The sky darkened in one sudden sweep. The air folded inward, and a shape began to form at the edge of my vision. It moved toward me, silent. I could feel its presence before I could understand its form. And then the light behind it fractured, splitting into thin jagged lines. Each line crawled across the sky. Closer, brighter. I took one step back. The world tilted. The shape stretched forward, reaching for me, and in that instant I understood that the day would not let me walk away easily. The shape leaned closer. Its edges shifted like smoke pressed into a human outline. Yet it held weight, a gravity that pulled at my breath and pinned my thoughts. The jagged lines of fractured light crawled farther across the sky. Each one flickered with a dull pulse, as if the sky itself struggled to hold itself together. The air thickened around my shoulders. My arms felt heavy. My pulse hammered against my ribs with a steady and painful rhythm. The shape lifted its head, or what I believed to be its head. There were no features, only a smooth surface that swallowed the light instead of reflecting it. A low hum filled my ears. It grew steadily, not loud, but deep, a sound that settled into my bones and pressed against my spine. I opened my mouth to speak, to shout, to demand an explanation, but the moment I drew breath, the air pushed back. It felt dense, velvety, unwilling to enter my lungs. The street around me wavered. The houses shifted slightly, as if viewed through rippling water. Their colors faded, their lines blurred, their shadows stretched across the pavement like reaching hands. A gust of wind rushed past. Cold, sharp enough to sting. It carried the same metallic scent. Stronger now, almost choking. It clung to the back of my tongue and coated my throat with a harsh bitterness. My knees weakened, my spine trembled, yet something compelled me to remain standing. A silent pressure, a command without words, an instinct that told me turning away would not save me. The shape extended an arm. Long, too long, its movement smooth and slow, like ink spreading across paper. Its fingers were thin and tapered. They drifted toward my chest. The hum grew deeper. My vision tightened. The edges darkened. My heartbeat thrashed as if attempting to break free. The ground beneath me responded. It seemed to breathe. A slow inhale, a slow exhale. The pavement rose and fell in subtle waves beneath my shoes, as if something enormous slept beneath the surface. A sharp crack echoed above. The fractured sky split further. A long line of light tore downward. It flashed with intense brightness. For a moment the entire street glowed a stark white. The shape paused, its head tilted to the side, as if listening to a distant voice. Another crack followed, then another. The lines of light thickened. They formed patterns, strange shapes, symbols that twisted in the empty air, symbols that pulsed with a rhythm identical to my heartbeat. My chest tightened. The pressure became unbearable. I struggled to fill my lungs. The air refused me. My breath hitched. My hands shook uncontrollably. The shadows near my feet deepened. They curled upward, slow tendrils rising toward my ankles. They reacted to the shape. Not to me, drawn as if by some invisible force. A deep rumble rolled through the street. Not thunder. Something heavier. Something that carried a sense of approaching weight. The shape lowered its arm. Its body shifted. Its outline expanded, then constricted, as if fighting against some force I could not see. The symbols in the sky pulsed faster. Their light intensified. They moved. They slid across the sky with deliberate and unsettling precision, almost as if they attempted to rewrite something in the air above us. Pain bloomed across my temples. Sharp and electric, my vision blurred again. The world twisted, colors drained into muted grays. Only the shape remained clear. Its darkness absolute, its presence undeniable. The shadows at my feet wrapped around my ankles. Cold and smooth, not painful, but firm, they held me in place. My muscles responded with panic. My body tried to move. My legs refused to obey. The hum shifted. It became a layered chorus. Dozens of tones stacked upon one another, all vibrating in perfect harmony. The sound resonated through my ribs, through my jaw, through the spaces between my thoughts. I felt something push into my mind. A pressure, delicate, but persistent, not painful at first, but foreign enough to send another shiver racing down my spine. I closed my eyes, but the pressure followed. It did not need sight. It probed, it examined, it searched for something within me. A warm trickle slid down my wrist. I looked down. A thin red line marked my skin. But I had no memory of being cut. The air stung the wound. The metallic scent now mixed with the distinct smell of blood. My heart lurched. I felt an unfamiliar rhythm pulse beneath my palm. A beat that was not mine. A pulse that echoed from the direction of the shape. The shape stepped closer, each movement slow and deliberate. Each step silent. The shadows tightened around my legs. The symbols in the sky dropped lower. They spun in a circular motion, creating a whirl of light above us. The wind swirled, cold, insistent. It wrapped around my body and pushed me toward the center of the street. The shape lifted its head once more. Its featureless surface angled directly at me. The pressure inside my skull sharpened. A sudden burst of heat spread across my forehead. A sharp sting, a burning imprint forming on my skin. The hum intensified. The ground shook. The shadows climbed higher, reaching my knees, my waist, holding me with increasing force. The shape raised its arm again. The symbols above aligned in a straight line. A bright beam of light dropped toward the center of the street. The air rippled. My ears rang. My skin prickled with a sensation like static. I felt something pull at me. Not physically, but from within, a tug at the edges of my consciousness. As if something unseen wanted to separate me from myself. The light touched the ground. The street cracked. The shadows shifted violently. The shape leaned forward, closer, closer, its silent presence consuming every inch of space between us. And as the pressure within my mind reached its peak, as the symbols burned with impossible brilliance, as the shadows tightened their hold, I realized the day carried a purpose far beyond anything I had imagined. A purpose now unfolding in front of me. And it awaited my next breath, my next thought, my next surrender to the moment that refused to release. Meth pressure inside my head reached a sharp, blinding peak. For a moment I felt certain the world would split open with it. Then everything stopped. The hum fell silent. The ground froze. The shadows loosened their grip and slipped away like smoke. The symbols in the sky flickered once, twice, then dissolved into fading trails of light. The shape lowered its arm. Its outline wavered. The darkness around it thinned, as if the force that held it together began to weaken. A soft wind stirred, warm, gentle, so different from the cold that had wrapped around me moments earlier. It brushed against my face, calmed my breath, steadied the frantic beat of my heart. The pressure in my mind eased, leaving a faint echo, a memory of something vast and incomprehensible, something that had seen me, and chosen to let me go. The shape stepped back, its form flickered, faded at the edges, the sky brightened behind it. The pale morning sun reclaimed the street inch by inch. I watched as the last line of darkness dissolved. One soft pulse of light. Then nothing. Silence stretched across the street. But it was no longer the heavy silence from before. It felt natural, soft, alive. The houses returned to their familiar colors. Their windows reflected the gentle glow of morning. The air carried only the scent of dew and soil. Clean, comforting. My knees weakened and I sank onto the curb. My hands trembled, but they were my hands. My breath my own, my heartbeat steady and human once more. I tilted my head toward the sky. No cracks, no symbols, only soft clouds drifting lazily across the brightening blue. For a long moment I simply breathed, allowing the calm to wash over me, allowing the reality of what had happened to settle without shattering me. The world felt untouched, but I was not the same. A faint warmth still lingered on my forehead, the place where the burning imprint had formed. A reminder, a mark hidden beneath the skin, carrying a meaning I could not yet understand. I stood slowly, the street steady beneath my feet, the day beginning to move forward, unaware of what had unfolded in its quiet hours. I took one final look behind me, at the place where the shape had stood, at the cracked line where the beam of light had touched the ground. Now sealed, barely visible, as if reluctant to reveal its secret. Then I turned toward home, my steps steady, my breath calm, my mind carrying both fear and a strange sense of awe. It was a day the world would forget, but I would remember, every heartbeat, every shadow, every whisper of the moment that reached for me, and chose to let me return. A day to remember, in ways no one else would ever truly know.